Hi guys, now for the fun stuff in this series of videos about making a WordPress website. We will now finally install WordPress, secure it reasonably well and configure it. And this series of videos is sponsored by companies Porkbun. Their website is porkbun.com as shown here. They are a very good domain registrar and I'm using them as almost my exclusive domain registrar. And the other sponsor is HostMantis. Their website is hostmantis.com and they are my hosting provider of choice, and they've decided to sponsor this video, so I want to thank them both for helping out. And now we can get on with this series of videos. For start, I will log into my account. Okay, this is a reseller hosting account. My internet is not super fast, so you will have to put up with that. Okay, and now we will go to our sub account which we created to build our website on, which is bgrsite.com. That's where we will place our WordPress website. So let's log in. In the previous videos we have already configured our bot and secured our both domains, secured our domain registrar account with two-factor authentication. We've also opened a hosting account, also secured it with two-factor authentication, and changed all the name servers so for it all to work. Then in the third video we've also added Cloudflare to the game so that we can use Cloudflare for protection and for DNS, of course, and for some speed boost for the visitors who are away from our hosting server location. And finally, in the series so far, I've shown how to configure hosted email service, and I used mxroot as an example, which is what I use. So that's what I used in this video. And now we'll, on all that infrastructure, try to build a WordPress website. One of the simplest and fastest ways to install WordPress is using Softaculous auto installer. Many hosting providers offer this, and HostMantis is no exception to that. So here it is. I can just click on it and it will open a window. And now I can choose to install WordPress. Custom install is my install of choice. So first I choose where I wish to install the website. I can pick a domain. On this account I have practically only one domain installed, bgrsite.com, and we will go with HTTPS, of course, and www. I have an article on my website that explains why I think it's a good idea to use this instead of going with the naked domain, which is very popular nowadays for whatever reason. Now we get to name our blog and put a tagline. These other options are no need to use them, and we choose admin username, admin password, and email for administrator. Of these plugins and everything else, I don't touch any of these. Advanced options, we get to choose our database name and table prefix, what it will be first part of every database field or table. And we have a disable update notification. Okay, this is not a bad idea for Softaculous not to bother you, and I am not a fan of auto updates and upgrades, so I would disable, not check this, and update notification emails. Okay, if you don't log into your website regularly, it's not a bad idea to leave this be. Do not auto upgrade. That's my advice. And as for the themes, the default theme is okay for install, and then we will change it. So this is basically everything you need to do. Simple configuration and click install. I don't think it needs any more demonstration and clarification. This I will show how to manually install WordPress in case you don't have Softaculous or you want to do it manually. I think it's a good idea to get the hang of it and figure out what is going on and what you need. So we'll go to that. We'll go back to our control panel. And for WordPress to be working, we need a database. We have already set up TLS or SSL certificates, so I won't be going through that in this video. Watch the previous videos where I configure the hosting account. So for this one, we will go to MySQL management, and I want to create a database. As I've shown in the previous videos, I'll be using a password manager to store everything, and for this I will put a link to a video explaining how to install and use at least this password manager. There are many on the market. And for start, I will create a new group here, which will be called websites. All right, and now we want to create a new subgroup for our website, bgrsite.com. all right, now we have it. Here we will add a new entry and say bgrsite.com WordPress config and login info. That sounds good. All right, so the first thing that we will need here, let's go back. Create a new database. BGRsite is our username on this hosting account, so we get to name database. It's no need to make it long or complicated. We can just do something like this. It's good enough. And for some reason, I prefer having database username to be different than the database itself. So when I'm doing anything with the database, especially using command prompt, I know exactly if I'm referring to user or to the database. You can make these be more descriptive, like DB for database or D, something like this, and user, we can say U and some number. That's good enough. Okay, and now I want to place this info into our password manager just to have that info available. So the database name BGRsite and this, and database user BGRsite and this. I'm using Ctrl-A, Ctrl-C to copy and Ctrl-V to paste. So if it looks too fast or you don't know what's going on, it's no magic mentioning this just in case. This video is intended for novices as well as some moderate, medium experienced people. Okay, now I want to abuse this password generator and create a password for our database. We can make it like 27 characters long and regenerate. And in my experience, these slashes and backslashes are not very well handled by PHP and WordPress. And I also wish to avoid quotation marks and those single quotation marks like this, because they sometimes create confusion. But this password looks good. Okay, I'll copy pasting it and say DB user password. All right, so here, okay, I don't want that, and I want to save this, then reopen it, and now I can just paste the password here and say create database. All right, we have our database created. That's the first step. That's what we will need for WordPress to be installed. And we also need the WordPress installation, and we will upload it to the root domain to the root directory of this domain. So I'm opening the file manager. You can use this also by using FTP. You can do it whichever way you like. And so here it is. These are some pre-created pages for errors, and this is the index HTML that will show right now on this website. So if I go to bgrsite.com, it will show that page. that's created by this index HTML. So wait for it. Here it is. All right. So we will rename this because index.html or index.php files, when they are stored in the directory that you're opening, will run as soon as you open the directory by default, unless you put something else to this link. But since I don't want to have this auto started when I open the directory, if I put index.php after I install WordPress, it will work. But just to be on the safe side, I'll rename this, and can delete it or just rename it to index.old. It will be fine. All right. And this is some default logo. We can see what it looks like. For direct admin, I can delete it. We don't want that. Remove, not even to trash, just remove it. It's a needless extra. Now we'll go to wordpress.org. Here it is, wordpress.org, and download the latest, greatest version of WordPress. Get WordPress. Okay, they want to sell me hosting. And what else? They are no. Okay, here it is. This is what we want. Download. Okay, WordPress 5. Okay, downloading to my computer. And this will take a few days, hours on my internet. Okay, it's downloaded. Now I'll go back to, I can close this. No need for that. And I can come here, back to the file manager, and we are already within the public HTML directory of our domain, and everything we place here will be shown when we go to that domain. Okay, so now here I can say new, upload files, and select, open, and upload. And now we wait for about a week on my internet, super fast. All right, it's uploaded. I can close this, and I can right click on it and say extract. And again, extract, yes. All right, here it is. I can remove this file, I won't be needing it. Feeling confident that it will all work from the start. Okay, remove. And then go to this directory. And I want all the files from here to be copied directly into the WordPress, into the public HTML. So I'm selecting them all using this, and I will say move to, copy or move to public HTML, and say move. All right, let's see what we've done. Going back. Now here are all the files and that WordPress directory, which is pointless now for us, so we will remove it. Okay. Now when we go to our domain, we will get to run a WordPress installation. https www.bigrsite.com. Okay, now I want to run that and see what happens. And here we have WordPress installation. It is important to note when you're first installing WordPress, if I had just typed bigrsite.com, it probably would have installed WordPress to use that domain instead of www. So when you are installing it manually, pay attention to what you type here when you first run the install. Make sure it's what you want. Okay, language English, United States. All right, next. Okay, let's go. Now we need to fill out some info. Okay, database name, that's what we wrote down here. This is our database name. Control C, Control A to delete this and pasting this, and database username. This is what goes here. and the password for the database that goes here. All right, and for table prefix we'll go with something random like ki. That's all right. Copying this, and I will also place it in our database manager, password manager, sorry. We can always retrieve this data within some files on the hosting account, but I prefer having it stored also in my password manager for easier reference. All right, Sparky, you've made it through this part. Okay, let's see if we'll make it to the end. Let's go. Site title, BG tutorial site. Username. Okay, we want to create a username for our website, and what we create now will be publicly visible. So we'll say BikeGremlin, for example. That's good. And we want a really strong password. Let's give it so for username we'll go BikeGremlin. I don't want to use space there. For password we will abuse the password generator again. Okay, let's say we want 29 characters long, and let's see. Okay, this looks fine. Password, and so I will put that here. wp-admin. Sorry, this is what I want to copy. Password. Okay, I can save this now and go back here and paste that password, and email BikeGremlin tutorial at gmail.com. For the administrator, WordPress administrator email, it's a good idea to use an email that's not related to your domain, and that works even when your website and your email service is down, just in case. And to prevent any kind of website attacks or abuse, it's better to have nothing to do with you. So just create some administrative email unrelated, and don't show it like this on YouTube, of course. And I want to discourage search engines from indexing this site, because it's still in the making. It's a tutorial website, and we don't want that showing in search results until we are finished and want to present it. Okay, so let's see if this works. Okay, I can now try to log in. Username is generally not case sensitive. I could have just typed all those lower caps here, lower case letters here, not lower caps. Okay, I can tick this one to not have to log in again and again for the next 30 days. Okay, we are here, and it wants to update already. Akismet anti-spam. All right, we will update this plugin, and then we will delete it. Okay, now to secure the WordPress website, that's what we will do first. And where do we begin? Users, all users. Here we have a user BikeGremlin that has administrative privileges, and we want to create another user, and that will be Relja. And for email, here is where we will use our email we've created for the website, and that is the account that will be publicly visible, and all the posts and everything will be under that account, and we will give it author privileges but not the admin privileges. So let's go to mxroot emails, and this is our email. So we pasted it here, and I can enter here all my data, but I don't have to. Website. Okay, it makes sense to put here your website that you are making, not some other. So we can say here https www.bgrsite.com. All right, and the password, we need a good password. Okay, this one doesn't look bad. I can have WordPress generated, and it makes pretty decent. I don't need to be notified via email for this, and I want author to be the access rights. This is from the lowest. This one cannot edit any content on the website. This one I think can only write or something, but cannot upload anything. I'm not so sure, but for author they can upload images and edit their own posts and pages. Editor can also edit other people's, other authors and others' pages, and administrator has full rights. They can upload plugins, install the install and everything. So we'll choose author, and I wish to save this password. So we have username Relja and password. Okay, let's put that into our password manager. This is the email we've used for WordPress admin. I want to also store that, and now we have password. This is it, and email. Okay, that looks good. And let's go, I can save this, and let's go back to WordPress. That's our password. Add new user. Okay, so now we have an administrator and a user. And now one thing to show, WordPress will make some posts by default, one test post, hello world, and one page and one comment. So I delete that usually right from the start. Okay, this can go to trash, and we can empty trash. This is pointless, needless. Okay, and now for the posts. I don't want anything to be owned and used by administrator unless I have a good reason to, so I can already click here quick edit and say this one belongs to Relja and not to BikeGremlin. That depends on what you want to be shown when you see that page. So if I cancel this and go to this page, open a new tab, here it is, and here is the author listed. It can show Relja if I change the owner there, and when I hover mouse over this, you can see in the bottom of the screen, the lower left corner, it says where that user's directory is. And that's not very good because it shows my login username, which is BikeGremlin. It's not case sensitive. I can click on this and it will take me to a page that lists all the articles by this user. I don't want to do that, and that's what we will do now in order to secure our website. But first let's go to settings, general. Okay, HTTPS, this looks good, this looks okay. So before we do anything else, I will go here to the control panel and go to MySQL management, and this is our database, and I will open php-myadmin. There is a way to install this on your computer or to install it manually on your server, but it usually comes pre-installed on most hosting accounts, so I won't be going into how to install php-myadmin. There's an article on my website that says that, but here I want to what I did here is I want this table, that's our database for WordPress, as we've named it, and I want to find users. You can see it here and we can see it here. This is what I want to open, and here are our two users, and I want to edit administrator and user login. This is what I want to change. Okay, you cannot easily change passwords. They are put, it's not saved in plain text, it's usually a hash of the password. There is an article on my website about those things like hash, algorithm and so on. I won't be bothering you with that, but we want to change username. So instead of BikeGremlin, we will use something completely nonsense, and that will be our administrator username from now on, and on the website it will still show BikeGremlin. So no one will know how even the username of our WordPress administrator. And that's, in my opinion, a good security precaution. So I have pasted our new name and I can click here, go. And that should be saved now. Okay, so it's saved, user login is different. Now I can do the same for the author, just in case. And let's do that. I will here put something like this, completely random, and all right, let's save this so we don't forget it, and come back here and say edit. Only login, all the other data is no problem, we can leave that be. Okay, this is good. I'm closing this, and now where do we start? I'll open an article on my website. Okay, it wants me to log in because I've changed that username. So all right, copy, the admin username. Okay, that, and the administrator password. Okay, general settings, and here you can play with these options however you like, but I just want to hit the high points and see the important settings for security and everything without bothering you too much. So this is definitely off, and the others depend on what you want to do with your website. I already also wrote an article on my website on how to prevent spam, and some settings here are shown in that article, how to configure them. So let's go to my website. Here is the article, I'll put it in video's description, and here it shows the settings that have worked well for me in order to prevent and reduce spam, just using WordPress default settings, not already existing settings without any extra plugins for that. So that's good, and just use this, which I will put in the article, in the video description. No need to take the time now. And for permalinks, we want to, there's also an article on permalinks on my website. Speed and optimization. Here it is. And here I discuss permalink, different kinds of structure, strengths and weaknesses in great length. And generally I use custom structure, and I use post ID and post name. For further explanation, read the article. Okay, and we have a privacy page and filling in all the details and everything. We'll just here hit the important stuff to configure to get running. So let's see, install plugins. Akispam, no need to use it. There's that article to prevent spam, and there I wrote what I use and recommend. Hello Dolly is useless completely, unless you have a record to play it, then it's cool. Okay, and now we want to check out the themes. Also, do we have something needless? We need one fallback theme. We'll leave the newest 2021 and delete all the others. Everything that you have on your website installed, even if it's not activated, is a potential security risk and potential problem. So we'll remove that, and we will add my favorite theme, GeneratePress. Okay, install. GeneratePress is the best. I have an article on my website that says exactly that, so it must be true. WordPress themes. The best WordPress theme, I told you. And here I'm recommending a few, and the first one is GeneratePress, and I explain why. So they did not sponsor this video. Okay, I've installed it now. I'll activate it, and we're running with GeneratePress now, with this website, for better or worse. Okay, and we have a fallback theme in case of any problems. This one, 2021, in case we forget which year it is, there's a theme to tell us. Okay, so now we're moving on. For security, I will add a plugin that is called WordFence. There is an article on my website that shows you how to configure it. There's an article on my website for everything you need. Yes, okay, install. And let me show the article. WordPress plugins. That's where it should be. Here it is, WordFence setup. And there I explained the most important options, so you can just open one window with this article, the other window with your website, and configure it. So here I'll just activate WordFence and show you the first few steps, just to go through them. Okay, here they want to get our email. I'll use the administrative email. There they will send me notifications. I don't want to join. Agree with the deal with the devil, terms and conditions. Okay. I want to go free, so the small button, and there it is. Now if I go to WordFence, okay, closing this, don't show me. I want to configure WordFence, and I don't want auto updates, so no thanks, and I want to configure it. Say no to auto updates. Okay, here the WordFence has recognized that we are on a LiteSpeed server, which is the case, so it insists that I download htaccess just in case, but I click that and just click cancel. I live dangerously. Continue. All right. Now it wants to optimize and configure firewall, which is a good idea. Click here to configure. Now I have two files to... Okay, this went through. Sometimes it does that. All right, now let's see if I have some notifications. Terms of use, okay, thank you very much. For the other options, you go to all options, and there are logically structured menus, and just follow my article and configure those that are important. That's what it boils down to. WordFence will slow down your website by some 5%, and it's not a real firewall, and also the best way to do this is on the level of the hosting server, not using any plugin. but in my experience most hosting providers don't configure servers to be perfectly secure when it comes to WordPress websites, and so I install WordFence just to sleep better. I don't want to risk it. It's my philosophy and the way I do it. For a small speed penalty of about 5% for what I could measure, I think it's worth it, but you don't have to if you have full trust in your system administrators, hosting providers, competence to secure the website. Then by all means, it's not necessary. It's better without it if everything is done properly on the server, but it's very often not the case. It just depends how many mistakes are made. That's at least my opinion. Okay, now we want to install a plugin for caching, for speed, that is LiteSpeed. So plugins, add new, we'll show that. And then we'll continue with securing WordPress website. Some other things we also wish to add. LiteSpeed. Here it is, LiteSpeed cache. That's the one we want. This is, in my opinion, probably the best WordPress caching plugin, and it's free as long as you are running on a server that has LiteSpeed, you're good. Here it is, and for configuring it, I wrote a very detailed article. WordPress plugins, no, sorry, my bad. WordPress speed and optimization, that's where it is, and here it is, how to configure LiteSpeed for WordPress cache. Here, all the menus that you have in LiteSpeed are shown, starting from general options, going on, a lot of stuff to configure, and this is what's worked best for me with brief explanations why. These are those options. So when you go here and see page optimization options, that's here, and so on and so forth. I have a table of contents, configuring LiteSpeed cache, and here I've numerized all the options. If they don't change the interface menu, even if they do, they probably won't change all the names completely, so I'll update the article accordingly, but for now it's okay. All right, so I will just no to auto upgrades, and I won't be going into this because it's already explained in my article. Just another thing before we go to security, which is important for the website to work properly. It should be able to send notification emails, subscription confirmation if you're having subscribers, and so on. So we will add a plugin to get our website to use our MX root email infrastructure. Here it is, easy WP SMTP. Right, this search is not designed very well. Okay, here it is. This is my favorite SMTP WordPress plugin, and I have an article also about that. Websites, emails, should be there. SMTP mail sending with WordPress, that is the one we want. And here I've explained how to configure this plugin. And that's what I'll do now. It doesn't take too much time. Settings, here it is. From email address, okay, let's go to our emails. This is for our website, and that's what we want to use. So this is our from email address, from name BikeGremlin tutorial. That is what we'll name our website. This is what I want. If I do anything wrong here, refer to my article. Don't, yeah, I did it well. Okay. SMTP host. Okay, we need to see our MX root hosting server, and that is here. This is our SMTP hosting server that's shown in our MX records for our domain that I've shown in previous video about Cloudflare. Okay, and I want this, and for this I want this port, if I remember correctly. Yes, that is at least MX root setup. It's not always the same, but often, quite often it is. SMTP authentication, yes, and username is this one, BGR site, and password is here. For our email password, this we will be using this account to send email from the website. You can create several email accounts and have your website use one and you yourself use the other and whatnot, but here for simplicity we will use this. Okay, please configure SMTP credentials. Okay, I think this is from before because I configured it. Okay, additional settings, encrypt password. Yes, I don't want it stored in plain text. All right. And now let's give it a try. We'll send this to our email to see if it works, and say test from testing. Website says hi. Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, here it says successfully sent, and we can confirm that by going to our email, and let's see if we will receive it. All right, here it is, and we can click here and say show original, and it looks fine. We can go a step further to select this and say MX toolbox analyzer. This is the one we want. This is the one we want. Great tool. I'm pasting this and say analyze header. Cool. Our website is sending properly. It's all green, super green. Okay, that's good. Now the basic things are there. For touch-ups and cosmetics and your website design, that's topic for separate video. Here I want to deal primarily with the infrastructure and security. And to go further, let's see about WordPress in general. Initial WordPress configuration. This is my cheat sheet, short notes, or whatever. I don't always remember everything. It's easier for me to write things down, especially if I'm trying to speak in a foreign language and also explain everything, and so it's easier to go just by the book. And so let's see. Configuring name servers, we've done that. Cloudflare account, domain email account hosted. Okay, DNS records, everything. Okay, hosting account. Okay, automated backup setup. We won't be going through this. I have an article on that. It will take too long. I'll record opening that article because I want to not forget to put it in this video's description later on, if it helps websites. Backup. And here it is. This website section has article on direct admin, hosting backup automation, cPanel, hosting backup automation, and how to use Jet Backup, and generally a few ways of backing up WordPress website by doing it manually or from control panel, but not automated. So you have 4 articles and see what you like. All right, here we have some code that we will add to the htaccess file. Let's copy paste this all. It's not always needed, but it's mostly harmless. It will not cause you any extra problems. All right, let's see. This is the htaccess file. Do I have any of my edits here already? Here it is, BikeGremlin edit. Okay. I want to put this right at the start. Ctrl V. And the part that we've already done. Begin BikeGremlin edit and end BikeGremlin. That's what. Ctrl X to cut it and place it here. Here I put a note for myself, see redirections below. Okay. And this is begin direct admin. This is how I configured where I want direct admin error logs to be stored, so it's easily visible. Otherwise, direct admin stores them in directory logs, and there's all sorts of other things, and I want WordPress related PHP errors to be stored in my public HTML directory, so this is what I'm doing here basically. Okay, and here we have the redirect to always go to HTTPS, and that's a good idea. All right, so even if we here enter HTTP bgrsite.com, it will redirect us to the HTTPS version with 3 W's, as it should be. So here it is. It works. Okay, here we are. Okay, so I've done these basic edits. Let's go back to my article and see. Okay, I've done this. Okay, and we add this to wp-config file. This what this does is disables auto updates. Say no to auto updates. Always update on a staging website, which will show how to create later on. And if you test, confirm it all works with your themes and plugins, then do the updates on the production website. Never auto update. Even for a staging website, it's best to do one update at a time and see which one causes problems and hiccups when that happens, not if. And autosave interval to 300 seconds, that's about 5 minutes, so that WordPress does not always autosave while we're editing and writing articles and so on. Okay, so I'll copy this and we'll go to, we've saved this already. Okay, closing it, and now we go to wp-config.php and click edit, and okay, here when it says happy publishing, after that you can generally put in your stuff, but I will go all the way to the end of this file. Okay, and that's where I'll put my edits, pasting them. So here it is. Okay, I'm happy with this. All right. Hope the website is still working. Let's go back to our article. WordFence security plugin. Link to my article, secured WordPress website. Configure, then install this SEO framework plugin. This is a link to my article about that plugin. I use this plugin for SEO and it's the best. read the article, no need to bother you with that now, why I'm using it. AMP, if you want to use AMP, and I have an article about that also on my website, so everything you are interested in is already written here, and just use the search options. Let's see if the search still works. Okay, here it is explained, and there's an article how to implement it in WordPress, so that's it, with all the pros and cons. I want to say greetings to my friends, the experienced developers who don't all like AMP for good reasons, but I like it also for good reasons, so yeah. Okay, now let's show about creating a staging website version using Softaculous. I think it works fine, and it's a very convenient and easy way to create a staging WordPress environment to test everything. So here I'm going to the control panel, and I'll choose now the Softaculous WordPress auto installer, and here we want to say import. Here it is. Because I've installed the WordPress manually, first I need to have Softaculous find our installation, which is on https://www.bgrsite.com, and I will say auto detect all installations to see if that works. Okay, it didn't go, and then I click start scanning for installations, and then okay, Softaculous has found my installation, and that's good. Alright, so now I can go back. This user interface is not very intuitive, and so let's confirm. Okay, here it's connected, looks good, and let's see. This is a set and forgetting. You configure this and just leave it, it works. Okay, this is test website, so it's configured like as it is to be not visible to search engines and so on, and I want all the auto upgrades disabled and everything. And what I want to do is create a staging copy. I can click that here, or I'll go back to control panel to show another way this looks like. I don't know why they made it like that. It is a bit confusing, and that's one of the reasons I'm showing it now. There's also an article on my website about Softaculous. It's difficult to write down and pronounce, but Softaculous. Okay, here is our installation. This interface looks nicer. I don't know why it switches to that other one. I may be just being publicly stupid now, but I haven't figured that out. If someone knows, let me know. Okay, so what I want to do, select this, and with this select, no, sorry, I want to create staging. This is the option, create staging. Okay, and it asks me where I want to create staging. I can create staging on some other domain. That's usually the best idea. And in order to do that, I'll go back to the control panel and create a new domain here. Domain setup, and say add new domain, and we'll say staging bgrsite.com, and that's it. But before we do that, we need to log into Cloudflare and to add this A record. So let's go to Cloudflare. Login. I need to enter my username, password, and then it will ask me for my two-factor authentication so I can log in. I've shown that in this video, in the video about Cloudflare, so I'll cut this part out of the video. Here I'm copy-pasting the two-factor authentication code, and I should be able to log in. going to BGR site, and I want DNS settings, and this is the domain we want, staging.bgrsite.com. So let's go here and say add record, a record, staging BGR site, or I can just enter staging and it will presume that it's at BGR site. And for the IP address, I want the same address for the main website because they're both on the same server, and I will disable Cloudflare proxy. For now, click save. Then click away from this menu for those changes to propagate. Now I can go back here. Okay, so now this is working. Now I need to go back here and say, okay, here, create it. All right, it's created. Now we need to install the SSL or TLS certificate for that one. So we go here, staging SSL. In direct admin, unlike cPanel, it's best to add even subdomains as a new domain. It works better, life is better that way. So, and for the subdomain, we want just this version. There's no need to use www, that's subdomain than your domain. It's pointless and it will not work with Cloudflare if you want to have the encryption. So this is how you do it without much discussion. Okay, let's see if it will start right away. Direct admin sometimes has these problems and hiccups with initial certificate installation, but here that's why I created the pointer on the DNS before creating the domain, just in case, because it tries to create a certificate by let's encrypt automatically right from the start, and sometimes gets in a loop and stuck and so on. But this is good. We got it up and running, and now we can go back to Softaculous and now try to create a staging WordPress website for our domain. So we say here, create staging, and let's say we want HTTPS and domain is staging. You can install it in a subdirectory, but that makes no sense. And here you can name a database, disable search engine visibility, definitely, because it's a staging. And so staging tutorial BikeGremlin. Okay, that's it. So in case we get confused, we know where we are. Okay, and here is the installation, and this is where I want the staging to go. All right, you can name this by some other name like stage 5506 or something, so it's not very clear, so no one can type just staging your domain.com and see what you're working on. That's also probably a good idea. Let's see. This usually works 99.9% of the time, and it's quite fast. All right, now we can test that. Go to bgrsite.com. Okay, it's not working very well. Constant autosave interval already defined. Okay. wp-config.php. All right. Let's see what that's about. Here, I wasn't planning to do any troubleshooting today, but it's a good opportunity. Let's see. Okay, here, this is PHP error log file that I talked about, why I like making it like this. And wp-config line 114. Okay, it's the same here as it is for the staging, but staging shows you errors on the front end so you can fix them, which is good. And we should see the same error here. It's good, it works. All right, line 140 on OK. Let's open wp-config and let's see what mistake have I made. For some reason it is not happy with this setup. I'm not sure that I understand why. I would have to Google this and figure it out. We can do that on the video to show the troubleshooting procedure, but this is what, let's see if it's defined somewhere else. Autosave. I'm really not sure why it's complaining about this. It's defined in only one place, and what is the exact problem? Constant autosave interval already defined. PHP warning. So it's defined somewhere within the WordPress now. Okay, this is new info for me. I am confused with this. All right. Looking stupid on the video again. Okay, let's see. This part is, I finished everything that I wanted to show you. This is just troubleshooting. Go on now. And let's see about the other one. Making this as a comment, so it's not showing. And let's see now. Refresh. Do we still have that error? Ctrl+Shift+R. Okay, this is not working well. This is not working well at all. Okay, let's see about our website. Is it working okay? Okay, and let's see what I've edited here. Okay, our main website is working, but our staging website is apparently not working for some reason. So, and I've just praised Softaculous. Let's see if this still reports any errors. This is not looking good at all. Very, very strange. And this is the time to spend hours Googling and trying to figure it out, and then if you're not with a provider that offers managed WordPress hosting, you're practically on your own, because this is something related to how WordPress communicates with the database and the server, and you basically, with most hosting providers, need to figure this out on your own. You can ask tech support. Some are happy to go out of their way to try and figure it out if it doesn't take too much time, but for most of this peculiar stuff, you're on your own, and it will make probably a very long and boring and tedious video for me to now be trying to figure this out. But I will probably, if I find the time, I'll try my best to write an article once I figure this out. So it's 90% successful. We couldn't get the staging website going, and there is some strange error on our main website. Pause for the pause. I need to also feed the cat. So, well, this is about it. Thank you for watching. The principle is the same. It usually works, but not always, and that's One of the things I don't really like about WordPress is that the stack has so many things in inline hosting server, Cloud Linux that runs on Linux, and LiteSpeed for caching, and you have Cloudflare just for protection, but you need it generally, and any of those things can create a problem. Then there are plugins and WordPress itself that not always work well with every update. Database, MariaDB or MySQL, so there are a lot of things that can get wrong with one update. Only one of them can create a mess, so it's always interesting. It's never boring with WordPress, and that is a downside compared to using some simpler website methods like plain HTML sites and so on. And the upside of using WordPress is that you can easily create new content quickly and easily, add images and everything, and there are plugins to help you with a lot of stuff, like for writing articles you have the SEO plugin that will recommend you if you make some silly mistakes. Then you have the plugins to make the website look nicer, and or use theme for that, and to have it run nicely on mobile without doing too much thinking or coding. So it has its upsides, but this is definitely, in my opinion, the biggest downside, that the things that I've done hundreds of times before, now on this server particular, with the same provider that I'm using otherwise, is not working as it normally should for whatever reason. It's a fresh install, couldn't be fresher. So and because it is WordPress, unless you're paying a lot of money for managed WordPress hosting, you are often left to figure it out or hire a freelancer or whatever to get to the bottom of it. And those are the downsides, and it's good. I will put this all into video. I think it's a good idea. There are pros and there are cons, and it happens. This happens. I hear it every day for people. I'm quite careful when I choose plugins, themes, when I install, configure, double check everything. I will go back, look at the video. Maybe I made some mistake while I was doing, but it's not likely. But these are the things that are unfortunately to be expected with WordPress. That is the ugly side of it. And everything else is cool. It's still the least bad options for creating websites and writing stuff and publishing and whatnot, in my opinion. I've tried all the other alternatives, many, not all, but many, and WordPress is still the least bad, because most of the time I'm just creating new articles, adding content, editing the existing content, updating, and that WordPress lets you do that quite quickly and efficiently. So it's unmatched for that. So, but it's not perfect, definitely. So that's it. Thank you for watching, for your patience. I hope this has helped at least someone. And now I really need to feed the cat. Cheers. If you like this video, you can click on subscribe and choose this bell option, select all, so you get notified whenever I upload a new video.